Hey, everybody! Why am I alone? There's something very mysterious is
Sorry,
going on. But
I was running over. I got a wardrobe change. I was coming over from the other studio. Sorry, I'm late, everybody.
my God, damn, Craig, you are a very busy guy. You know, going from one studio to another, show after show after show. Thanks for making time for us this week.
I wasn't going to miss this, brother. But yeah, no, we had to do our holiday message from Click Connect. So unfortunately, didn't have time to do a wardrobe change over at the other studio. So I'm going to do it right now.
Great. Now you got us kicked off YouTube for indecency. Thanks for that one, Craig.
That's why I got a T-shirt on. We didn't want you to get an X rating on this.
Yeah, man. It's great to see you. So I'm over here in Las Vegas. I'm over at the Sahara Hotel Resort Casino right now doing this show with you. It's great to see you, man. What's going on?
Hey, it's great to see you. And hopefully we're going to see you in person on Sunday before the Raider game. It sounds like you're having a great week over in Vegas, and you've got some very important stuff coming up that we'll talk about during the shameless plugs. And I'm glad to have you in my time zone, and you're drinking at 2 p.m. So roll that beautiful footage so that Glenn can have a drink.
Wow, 195 episodes is the first time we're doing this before the guest comes on here, Craig. Thank you. I was very thirsty. I kept going for it, but I'm like, I gotta hold on for the graphic. Hey, cheers, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for happy hour. Yeah, hope everyone had a great week. So maybe we should just jump right into it. Who's our guest today, Craig?
We've got an industry person whose stature cannot be explained. He provides services, data. He's been a guest on your show. He's been a guest on my show numerous times as well. And he's got two great organizations. And do you know what those two organizations are, Glenn? No idea? Okay. Well, we got LW Hospitality Advisors and Lark. And we had his partner who runs Lark on our show. You're muted, Glenn.
I think I know who our guest is. This is exciting.
It's Daniel Lesser.
All right, Daniel, welcome. This is great. Are you in the witness protection program or something? I'm very concerned about your whereabouts right now.
Yeah, I don't want you to know where I am, but I got to tell you guys, thank you for that. I'm flattered. That was very, very nice. So thank you.
Dan, you're awesome. We really highly respect you. And the only thing that we don't know is why are you lowering yourself and diminishing yourself to be here with us tonight? What have you done?
That's a really good question because I think you guys have actually asked me a few times to do this. And
yes,
I do know what goes on during this show. And so I felt like as I get closer to the end of my career, it would be more acceptable for me to do this.
That's true. Dad, it might, after tonight, it might be closer than you think. But we really appreciate you being here with us today. And tonight, I know we're going to talk about some of the issues going on as we see it out there in hospitality and stuff like that, and kind of mix the happy hour and some of the important stuff that's going on too. And maybe if you guys bully me, maybe I'll go lose some money in the slot machines as well. So we'll see what happens.
We'll definitely bully you on that. But before we jump into all that,
totally in charge. I love it.
There we go. Yeah, no, you got to keep Glenn on that other side. He comes over here, he starts to freak out.
But clearly, I got put into the right slot because I'm the one in charge. But I had to actually tell StreamYard how to do it differently. It's okay.
There you go.
I feel like we're on
the show. Okay. Glenn and I are not capable of running our own shows or this one. This is why you get paid the big bucks, Doctor Producer Director Suzanne.
So many.
In fact, Suzanne just bought that island that's behind her because she's doing so well.
Basically, I can afford the pineapple. Thanks, guys.
Actually, Glenn,
unfortunately, they were on sale.
By the way, I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares. Just put up 2 more boxes.
There we go. So
I was thinking more like Brady Bunch.
So Daniel, I want to ask you, we've been having a lot of changes this year in the industry. We've got typically our larger groups, APAC, Canada, really not coming to the U.S. Marriott and everybody else seems to be revising their numbers for next year. What are you seeing and hearing out there that's really gonna just put a smile on Glenn's face?
Listen, well, something that I also want you to address: why are Mexicans suddenly coming here in big numbers? So I'd like to hear about that too.
I'm not aware of the latter, so I can't comment on that.
Oh, too bad. It's up 13% apparently, which is pretty incredible.
Wow.
I was not aware of that, candidly. Listen, the bad news is that everybody's sort of revising. If you look at what CoStar STRs did during the year, they kept revising downward. Yeah. In the short term, it's not a very pretty picture for a whole host of reasons that happy to talk about. But I've said this for years. Hotels really should be looked at as long-term investments. Okay. Yeah. Because of the volatility, right? Yeah. Now, listen, there are lots of folks who made lots of money, buying assets, underwriting for a 3 to 5 year hold, right? But it's a risky proposition, right? Because of daily leasing, constant repricing of guest rooms, right? The world looked very different on January 1st, 2020 than it did by April 1st, 2020, right? Yeah. And so with daily leasing and constant repricing of rooms, that's a risk that on the upside is beautiful, but on the downside can kill you, right? And so for a whole host of reasons, listen, top line is doing okay for the most part, and we're talking nationally, right? Let's not forget that the hotel business is street corner business.
Dan, we always try to say that. We say that when we talk in aggregate, it's more for entertainment purposes only and to give us an idea of where we're going. But your own business has a lot of own factors.
Yeah. So yeah, in the short term, there are definitely lots and lots of headwinds, no question about it. The good news is that there is construction money out there for projects that are economically feasible, but there aren't that many projects that are economically feasible. So there isn't construction. There is not dumb construction money getting put out there. That's for sure. So for the most part, supply going forward is in check, right? Yeah. You still have, lots of hotels in this country that are approaching or at the end of their economic, physical lives, if you will, and, either going to get torn down or converted to some alternative use, right? So long term, I think the prospects are, listen, travel is innate in human beings, right? And as travel becomes easier, right, and supersonic transport is around the corner, it's coming back, right? It's only going to continue to spur more and more travel, right? And so for the hotel business, it's great long term, right? Short term, there are definitely issues. There's no question about it. Yeah. You guys are playing. What are you playing here?
I know. Yeah. Well, I'll say this, Dan. You're right. I think I just gave a speech to a big hotel company on Tuesday, and one of the things that I was saying is, ever since the Great Recession, we're really moving more from a materialistic society to an experiential society. And guys like you and me have been talking about it forever, but now in 2025, I think it's real and it means something. And people would much rather do things than have stuff. We all have plenty of crap from China that costs $20. We don't need any more.
Yeah. And then, obviously there's, well-publicized sort of bifurcation of, the world's population in terms of the haves and the have-nots, right? And we know that the luxury market is doing spectacularly well, and that's because, the upper 1% are doing really well. There's challenges at the other end of the spectrum, and so we're seeing some issues with economy mid-priced hotels as well. Yeah. And you layer in the issue of functional and physical obsolescence. But listen, institutional grade real estate. I mean, Blackstone's out there buying stuff. They just bought the Four Seasons in San Francisco. Yep. Don't get me going on San Francisco. I've been bullish about San Francisco for years now. Me too. It's finally coming to fruition. Yeah. Anyway,
Dan, the funny thing is, when you came on, the first question I was going to ask you, so tell me more about San Francisco, because I will remember you had the balls to come on No Vacancy and really double down on that. It was pretty awesome.
And I've written about it and talked about it. And it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. Anyway, I never told my kids I told you so, but I told you so.
Yeah, you did. And, Glenn and I are probably the only two that were really listening. And you know that I've been bullish on San Francisco through this whole period. And it started really with me jumping on that bandwagon in public when the mayor's race started.
Yep.
That mayor, the former mayor, started to make some inroads, but it was a day late and millions of dollars short. The new guy, he came in. He's a local businessman. He is about business. He is also about the residents. Okay. And that was the thing that drove him over the top. He embraced, business, which you have to do in a metropolitan area like that, or Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. But he got the community involved, and he's got a great reputation with the residents there, and they love him. They saw him cleaning up the streets day one. He was out there doing everything other than pushing a broom, and he may have been at one point just for the photo op. But yeah, I love San Francisco.
It's interesting. You just mentioned.
I'm going to interrupt for one quick moment. We have breaking news. It's relatively early. I'm a little
Oh
delayed.
boy.
But
Artie's here.
Here. And Craig, he needs the update as to what he missed, but he's been with us for 6 minutes. So it really is just where you're at. Other than that, he's on target.
Arnie, okay, we don't know if Daniel is in the witness protection program or at Glenn's house, or if he's doing a new version of Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's it. You figured it out.
Yeah. And
Welcome.
Glenn is sitting in a casino in Vegas waiting for his room to get
Sahara.
Is it the Sahara? Why he's waiting for a room, I don't know. But it seems like the numbers are down a little bit there, so we're all good. We're caught up, Arnie.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm waiting for room is because I booked this with American Express Travel because I needed to pay for one night while I was on this 10-day trip, and if I booked through American Express, I was able to get the price of the room back. So I only had to pay for the resort fee here.
Love American Express. Love
You
it.
must be in business for yourself, Glenn.
Express should be
was that?
a primary sponsor for this show.
You must be in business for yourself as opposed to working for a big company.
That's exactly right. And let me tell you, Dan. I've stayed at some hotels that I know a lot of people would not stay at because I'd really rather pay $100 for a bed than $400, $500 for no reason.
I get it. I run my own business too.
Yep.
It's interesting coming back to San Francisco. And then, Craig, you mentioned New York.
Yeah.
The way I see it, I don't want to dig too deep into this, and I don't want to stir the pot, but New York is good.
Please, come on.
Stirring the pot's my job. Emphasis on the pot.
New York is going to become the next San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
San Francisco on the downside, man.
Glenn,
that's just what we're looking for. Now that I live on Long Island, I don't care.
Glenn, can I quote you on that on Click Connect?
I think everyone should know sarcasm by now. I think New York. Yeah.
Talk about Long Island. Bruce Blakeman, who he's in charge of Nassau County, whatever. I read somewhere is that he's going to be having installed these cameras that are going to take license plate pictures and pictures of people as they cross into Nassau County. By January 1st, he plans on doing this.
That's ridiculous.
Why?
Why is that ridiculous?
Because I'm just driving on a road. I don't really like government freaking watching us every single move, and I think it's kind of out of control that there are cameras absolutely everywhere. Philosophically, I'm just not into it. Yeah, but I volunteered to do that. That was my choice. Again, I volunteered to do that. I'm very afraid of us being forced to do stuff as opposed to voluntarily. And I voluntarily did it to say, as opposed to where they say it's voluntary, but it's really mandatory. That kind of thing.
Glenn, this dates back to London. London and Tokyo probably had the most camera surveillance of any major metropolitan cities globally. until 9/11. I mean, Washington D.C. was probably very close, but not to that level. And then after that, all bets were off. I mean, if you look at the Patriot Act, we've lost rights every day since that came into being. So, but my question is, why is the mayor of Long Island or Nassau County wanting to do this?
County executive.
Yeah, county executive. Thank you. Well, you've heard about the mayoral race in New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, we all know about Montgomery.
Do I need to say anything further? This show's being recorded and live, right? So
this show is live.
I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. New York is going to become the next San Francisco on the down.
Ouch.
Like Jesse Waters.
There you go.
All right, so Dan, what is your big prediction for the best market in the country coming up, other than San Francisco?
Well, I was about to say San Francisco. Well, best market in the country in terms of what? I mean, we talked about.
Dan, I'm sitting here drinking a beer at a casino. I'm being vague. I don't care. Answer any way you want. We'll let it slide.
I like Dallas.
Why?
I thought you were going to say that. I mean, Dallas is growing by leaps and bounds, it seems, Dan, right?
100%. So, Glenn, you tell us why. Come on, you know why.
I did.
I'm going to turn the tables on you here. Can you switch, Suzanne? Can you switch the boxes?
No, a lot of population shifts. The Dallas-Fort Worth corridor is probably the fastest growing part of the entire country right now, so it makes sense. And Dan, I've been to places where it's like I'll go to a hotel opening and it'll be fields of nothing, or right next to it is that brand new shopping center that's just opening, and the brand new this and the brand new that, and it's incredible. I've also seen that in places like Salt Lake, and it's very different than what we have up here, up in the Northeast, where it's just so old and everything's already been built.
Yeah. And I mean, let's not forget South Florida, which is, still exploding. Look at what, there you go. Look at what Steve Ross is doing in West Palm. He's buying up the whole town. He's buying the Ben Hotel for close to $1 million a room. That was a great deal for Wheelock, because they bought it not that long ago. I want to say for $600-700 a key, something like that. So they're making a nice profit in a fairly short period of time.
Nice.
Yeah. Which goes against the grain of what I was saying earlier about long-term investment. But anyway.
It's the exception that proves the rule. I mean, generally speaking, you got to have the long-term investment, but there are opportunities that you just got to pounce on every once in a while.
I mean, you look at that Sunseeker resort in Port Charlotte, Florida, on the west coast of Florida. I mean, what an ill-conceived property. I mean, and Blackstone bought it literally for 25 cents on the dollar, right? And it's an ill-conceived property. There's no question about it. But at the right basis, everything makes sense. Right. And obviously 25 cents on the dollar was the right basis.
Yeah. Now, I think one hotel that's going to fall into that rather rapidly is the Fairmont in Long Beach. Okay. It was a 1920s hotel that it got switched over to senior care housing, I'm going to say in the 70s. And then just came back as a Fairmont, and they overdid everything. They didn't have a brilliant strategy for their construction loan and their permanent financing. And, the lender's ready to, pull the trigger on it. Now, somebody buys a note, you get that at 70 cents or below on the dollar. It could be a very good deal. So, I think that particular hotel is going to be the second one in, or third one in is actually the one that's going to make money. I think the second one in is they might be able to prove their performa, but I think there's going to be a hiccup and they're going to lose it, and it's going to be the next one in. Same thing that happened with the Ritz-Carlton down in Laguna. It was the third guy in, and that was that group out of Chicago, and they got it at 20 cents, 25 cents on the dollar. They hung on to it for 2 decades, and made $1 bazillion when they sold it.
Hey, we've all been around long enough to have seen, amazing, beautiful developments that only made economic sense for the second or third investor.
Well, what do you think of Phoenix? Because I think everything out there is a mirage. I mean, they never take old product out of the system. And I see some of the stuff that's being built, and it's just like, why?
Phoenix is a lot like Dallas, right? If you think about it, there's just so much area to expand outward, right? And there's a lot of population moving there as well, right?
Well, I understand, Dan, that there's a lot of problems with the water over there and some rules that they have in place that it's preventing even entire swaths of neighborhoods from being built.
Yeah, they have to have like 100 years worth of water in the aquifer. So
they're lacking water, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard that about Tehran in Iran. I'm serious.
Okay.
No, you're right. It's happening in a lot of places, and especially North Africa with this dam being built.
Yeah.
But then Cape Town also was going dry for a while too. But Tehran, they're saying they're going to have to move the capital. There's 20 million people there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hopefully they'll do something unlike Cairo. They didn't do that too well.
Yeah.
Now, all right. Hold on. Doreen is here, and she wants to know the update as to what Glenn is doing.
I'm waiting for you to get here, Doreen. I thought we were going to be playing some tables tonight, so I don't know what's going on. I'm in Vegas for Nevada Hotel and Lodging Association's tech conference, which was earlier this week. I was doing some content with my friends over at Resorts World. I'll be attending a bunch of other events between now and next week, so I'm here until next Friday. So that's a long time. Wish me luck. Plus, I'm going to see Barry Manilow tonight, so that'll be fun.
Doreen, jump on a plane, go to Vegas, meet Glenn and I and Sean there on Sunday for the Raider game.
Yeah, Craig, I hope I get to meet up with you. I'm definitely going to have to meet you at the stadium, though.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
How many days a year are you on the road, Glenn?
150-ish.
Really?
Maybe, something like that.
And
yeah.
How many years have you been doing that?
It's amped up since I started my business 10 years ago next month. I've been very fortunate about that, but it's really amped up over the last few years, particularly since in the post-COVID issues world, it's really ramped up a lot. So no complaints. I've been very fortunate to have great experiences and do some cool stuff, but it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot.
Just 6 hotels on this one trip alone.
Yes, I stayed at a Hilton in Virginia, then Resorts World, now Sahara, then 2 nights at MGM Grand, then 2 nights at Virgin, then 2 more nights over at Resorts World.
Wow. Okay.
Listen, Doreen is coming to see me in my neck of the woods. So
nice.
Welcome.
Nice.
That sounds like it's a great show. Enjoy Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, absolutely. Very.
Speaking of Hard Rock, I could see the construction from my window at Resorts World, and that guitar is almost as tall as the Mirage itself right now, the original superstructure. So coming along, it's already gone and done its big guitar bow out, and it's starting to come back in. It looks really, really cool.
Nice.
I wonder if it'll be a similar format to what's in Hollywood, where that center of that guitar
correct.
Is the presidential suite. Which is really cool, a 2-floor suite in that establishment. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Dan, you're all over the country. How many days a year are you traveling?
Truth be told, I don't travel as much as I used to. I actually never traveled as much as Glenn, but I've done.
Well, nobody does.
Yeah. I'm a lifetime American Airlines something. So I've been around. But these days, I get around, but I don't take trips like 10 days in a row, right? I'll do 1, 2 nights, 3 at the most. Yeah. But
well, Dan, I'm at the age now, and my kids are older, that I stayed here because I could have flown home and then been home for like 2 days and come back. I can't do that anymore. That's just too exhausting. So. Right. Well, it's actually winds up being cheaper for me too to just stay here instead of flying back and forth, and I don't have to put all the wear and tear on the body.
Well, and
right.
also Glenn's really lucky because he does have G-Force 1, which is his airplane, and then he's got G-Force 2, which is his helicopter that he can take into the city. Now, the city of Newport Beach banned him from building a helipad at his palatial family compound here in Newport Beach because they said, oh, no, we don't want any helicopters on the water. But,
All right. So speaking of cool,
All right.
have you
Yep.
tickets at the Sphere?
All right, so for those of you who don't know, Fish just announced a big run of shows at Sphere Las Vegas in April. Three separate sets of 3 shows. And Kim is wondering how you're going to get tickets. Tickets have not yet gone on sale, but I've managed to work some channels, and I've secured tickets for the final 3 shows at this point. And I'm not sure I'm going to go do any others because I have a feeling it's going to be a little too much wear and tear on my body. Dan, on that particular trip, I'm going to come in on a Wednesday, see the Fish shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then I've got to go do a conference on Monday to Thursday, then fly home on Friday to go to my son's college graduation. So then on Monday, the following Monday, come back to Vegas for another conference. So that's going to be an awesome April, May.
If memory serves me correctly, didn't you see Fish at the Sphere a year or two,
Correct.
3 days in a row as well, right?
No, you're lacking serious details there, Dan. It was 4 days in a row.
I forgot. That's pretty good that I remember that, though, you know?
That was April 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th of 2024.
That was shortly after they opened up the Sphere, right?
It
I think
opened in
U2 had
September.
just finished. U2 had just finished up there, I think. When are they coming back?
don't know when the Eagles are coming back.
U2, not the Eagles.
Oh,
Anyway, I'll do the Eagles, too. We lost Glenn. Oh, there he
I
is.
don't know when U2 is coming back. You're muted. You're muted.
He's talking to himself.
Sorry, my wife just texted me.
He's like,
she's
where
going on a
are you?
girls- Yeah, no, she's going on a girls' weekend right now to Florida. So she's probably in a car going to the airport or at the airport, and she wants to connect with me, but neglected to remember that I'm on air Fridays between at 5 o'clock. So
Well,
I just got a text. She's sorry she forgot. Yeah.
also, Glenn's making her fly coach because he's got the plane out in Vegas sitting on the tarmac. Just say it, Glenn.
I got a row 54. I got a row 54D, so it's great. Middle seat all the way in the back by the bathroom, so not a problem.
All right. So YouTube is June 29th, according to my alerts here, until June 27th in 2027 at the Sphere.
YouTube?
YouTube's coming back?
U2?
Nice.
Seriously?
Nice.
What is that?
Glenn,
Hey,
have you
Glenn,
been to a YouTube
Glenn.
conference?
I haven't heard about that.
Glenn, I need you to get me tickets for that. I'll pay premium.
Let's talk.
We'll talk off
later.
air.
I'll tell you what I did. You might know some of the same people. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
We know low people in high places. I know.
Glenn,
That's how
we got to do YouTube, Glenn.
Can you see that?
Yes. Dan and I are hanging out with your wife, Glenn.
That's really funny.
Very
Glenn. She'll be at Universal Studios tomorrow, and then she's going to Mickey's holiday Christmas thing on the day after that. So that should be fun for her.
Oh my God.
I can skip the Christmas parade tomorrow and go and hang out.
Hey, I know we want to keep this show tonight to like 45 minutes or so, and you guys sent me homework, and I did my homework, and you haven't brought it up yet. So what's going on?
I'm going to, but first, Glenn, I want Durain to know that you can call Glenn Hausman's wife at 917-555-5555.
The last 4 digits are actually 1212.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about that article I sent you, Daniel, with the death of Airbnb?
Was it an article or a video? We don't know the difference.
Oh, it was a video.
It's a YouTube video.
Yeah, it was a little lengthy too, by the way.
Yeah.
I also don't have a lot of patience, but that's another story. Anyway,
Listen.
listen.
For a commute home yesterday to listen to it because I had to do my homework too.
I was on a plane for a good part of yesterday and had work to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? I'm not a fan of Airbnb. You know, when it first came out and it was cool, and you know, you kind of had to try it. I did it like 2 or 3 times, and I very quickly figured out, nah, this is not like staying in a hotel. And I think that's really what's sort of coming to fruition now. You know, that travelers are realizing, like, listen, for certain folks, it's fine, right? But it does not replace a hotel. It's a complete experience, a completely different experience.
Or
right?
certain occasions or reasons, as opposed to every reason that you travel.
Correct. Like, I remember the first time trying it, I was at Alice in January, right? And rented some apartment in downtown LA. And, it was, I don't know. I much prefer being in a hotel. No question about it.
And I agree with you on that. And, I mean, we can give the audience all the arguments, okay? Fire, life, safety, security, on and on and on. Now, I was always amazed, and they stopped asking this question at conferences. They did it at all the major ones for a number of years. It asked general session, how many of you stayed at an Airbnb? And I never raised my hand, and I always looked around and I went, traitors, but okay, I've got a property over on Maui that I've had for 30 plus years. Never, ever have I put it on Airbnb. My management company knows not to do that either. I do use a management company, quote unquote, professional. Now, my place was set up. It's part of a project that was built on Maui that was set up as a hotel / condominium. So I pay more in taxes, fire, life, safety is intact. There's all types of things, front desk check-in, all of it. And I look at Airbnb as being a scourge. I really do. I just totally despise it. And I think that, if I was to do a development today, okay, with homes, a hotel, condominiums. Now, Glenn doesn't know what a CC&R is, but I know you do, Daniel. Now, in those covenants, conditions, and restrictions, I do 2 things. 1, the hotel controls the HOA. 2, I would put it in there in those restrictions that there is no motherfucking short-term rentals at any of the single-family residences or condominiums, period. Cut this shit down, get rid of it. If you're going to build a project like what I'm in Maui, that, it's both, what it is going into it. And again, I hate Airbnb. I do.
How do you really feel about it?
Well, if Glenn's staying there, it's okay.
Listen, at the end of the day, lots of municipalities have cracked down on their ability to operate in New York, Barcelona. It's all over the world. And they, if you listen to Chesky's recent comments, Brian Chesky, he's like, I want to get into the hotel business. And so they're becoming a booking engine is really what they're evolving into.
I agree. And if you look, okay, that video that we saw was iffy at best, but there were some good points in there. They're using dynamic pricing now, okay, in Airbnb. And it's
That's
just like
cool.
It's like, what are you guys doing? You're not a hotel, okay? Stop it. But I just look at it and I go, no, I don't know. I'm not going to do this. No.
Well, like I said, I did it 2, maybe 3 times at the most, and that was it. I would never do it again. And it's real hit or miss, right? How many times have you heard stories about folks who, 10 people going somewheres, right? And they take a house in Malibu, right? And it turns out to be, a pigsty, right?
Well, that's what happened in Anaheim. Okay. There was 16 people staying in 4-bedroom homes repeatedly. And then Disney stepped in and said, you got to cut this shit out. And all of a sudden the city council, mandated no more Airbnb within the city limits of Anaheim.
Yep.
Now, you look at Hawaii, I'm sure Florida, the Gator capital of the world, also, they embrace this. They run on a couple of things: hotels, travel, tourism, and the military. Okay. So if you build a project that this going in, it works well. There's also lots of I've got projects down the street from my place that absolutely not. Their short-term rental idea is 6 months, period.
Yeah.
And, I live in an area in Newport Beach where Glenn's been out here several times. I had 5 or 6 homes that were Airbnb, and it changes the complexity.
Your next door neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah. And now my next door neighbors did a great job of vetting the people that came in there, but some of the others, not so much. And when you come out on your patio and you look around and you go, okay, that house is dark, this house is dark, or there's a family of 10 in there and they're just partying like there's no tomorrow. It's like, it changes the dynamics of the neighborhood. And I don't want that. I want to come home and this is my fortress of solitude, damn it.
I slept in a kid's room once in Puerto Rico with a ceiling that had the illuminating stars on it. At that point, I knew I crossed the Rubicon, and I was not going to be doing that again.
That was through Airbnb?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
I was attending an event in Puerto Rico, and it was kind of like it was a last-minute thing, and there were no hotel rooms available. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll do this. And it was one of those things: you show up, and there's a gate and lots of like keys, like little key safes and stuff like that. And you have to figure it all out. And it was just all too complicated. Today I walked in here, I waited for one person online, I gave my ID, I had my room, and I was done. And you know what? I don't have to do any cleaning up when I leave. I'm going to keep it clean because I respect the housekeeping, but I don't have to go out of my way. It just doesn't make any sense.
Given all the travel you do, I would love to hear in your career what the worst hotel was you ever stayed at and what was the best hotel you ever stayed at.
It's harder to say the best hotel because there are so many great hoteliers out there. But one of the worst hotels I ever stayed at, I checked in and like half the lights didn't work and there were stains everywhere. I opened up their drawer and there was a swastika carved into the cabinet. It was really a very delightful stay. Like everywhere you look, there was a new surprise to be had. So, but that was when I was in my 20s and would spend about $20 on a hotel room.
Okay, and I understand you've stayed in some beautiful hotels, but still answer the question. What's the first one that comes to mind? The first one that comes to mind.
The first one was a bed and breakfast up in the center, and the bedroom was above the kitchen, and they had a septic problem, and they knew it, and it smelled right into the bedroom, and they were like, well, when dinner service is over, the odor will disappear.
Yeah, right. So
one of my
Dan,
go ahead.
Craig.
One of my favorite hotels was the Kahala when it was a Hilton. My parents had to drag me over to Hawaii. It's in the 1970s. Okay?
I was going to say, you're dating yourself, I would imagine 75% of the population who's listening to this saying, Kahala? Well, what is that? Where is that?
I've got no problem acknowledging that I'm old, okay?
I'm right there with you, man.
But I took off and went to Europe when I graduated from high school. My parents took off and went to Hawaii and Japan, then came back to Hawaii, and they stayed at the Kahala twice, and they also stayed in a family friend's house on Maui, which I ended up buying. And then they said, you have to come with us next year. And I'm just going, you guys dragged me all over Route 66. No, I don't want to go anywhere with you. You're 18 and full of piss and vinegar. Well, I went, and we went to the Kahala. It was a Hilton at the time, and it was one of the best experiences ever. And I love that resort. It's just, they got the dolphins there before it became a thing at various other hotels. They've got a little kitchen pop-up at the pool area. I mean, it's a very undersized pool by today's standards. But they had this little pop, and the best damn cheeseburger I've ever had in my life was at that shack next to the pool. And, we go inside, they do high tea at 3 p.m. And when I was coming back with my former wife and my son when he was first born, they were, the hotel staff gave my son free reign of the hotel. They were making stuff for him, origami animals and special breakfasts. And he just, I've got so many memories at that hotel that are just absolutely delightful. That's the first one that comes to my mind. How about you?
Do young people still do origami?
Do they?
Probably not.
Do they?
Actually, one of my kids took an origami related math class about a year ago.
Math.
Yeah. No, that's a club he's in. Meth and origami. Yeah.
I'm trying to create, a fallback position. If I don't make it doing what I do, I want to kind of join you guys on this weekly show. So
you should.
As long as you bring the meth, we're good.
The meds or the meth? Or both?
All the above, baby.
Both.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, Suzanne, why don't you run that last graphic thing?
This one?
Yeah, you nailed it, Dan. It's a plug-a-palooza. That's now your chance for shameless plugs in any way you want. So go for it, baby.
Shameless plug. What?
Promote yourself.
How do they get in touch
myself.
with you? What have you got cooking for this next year?
What do I have cooking? Well,
LW Advisors.
What was that?
LW Advisors and Lark.
On January 5th, we are going to be celebrating our 15th 15 anniversary.
Wow,
which is a pretty big deal. Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's been an amazing journey. Actually, when I look back at my entire career, I pinch myself every day. I consider myself so fortunate to. If I had to do my career all over again, I don't think I would do anything different. I mean, nothing in life is perfect. Don't get me wrong, but from a high level. And so, here I am, 15 years after co-founding LW, and 6 years ago, we co-founded Lark.
Wow.
With Ryan Melliker. And, when Evan Weiss and I started this business, we had no business plan. We literally had no business plan. We were working together at CB Richard Ellis for 5 years between 2005 and 2010. And we talked for a number of years about doing something. And then it was middle of December 2010 where my contract was getting up and I was sort of done. Evan was, he had it as well. And we'd been talking. And here we are in mid-December. And we're like, you know what? Let's just go out and do it. We had no business plan. It was funny. We realized after we opened up that we didn't even have any Excel models to work with. We had nothing. I'll tell you what we did have. It was very fortunate. As I was segueing out of CB Richard Ellis at the time, I was letting people know that, hey, I can get you set up, but I'm not going to be here come the beginning of the year. And it was very flattering and humbling how many times I was told, well, we're not hiring CBRE, we're hiring you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we actually had business to execute before we legally formed the company, which is amazing, right?
Congratulations.
So
That's really amazing.
Here we are today. We're 43, 44 folks, obviously headquartered in New York. There's about 15 folks in New York and then boots on the ground all over the country. And it's been an amazing journey. So, and we're actually going to hit record revenues in our 15th year. So,
nice.
I think, Suzanne, you asked me what's up for 26.
There you go.
Bigger and better.
Love it.
Yeah. I love when people talk about fair share, like fair share. I want the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dan, how can we find you? How can we engage your services?
If you go to the post office, you'll find me on the wall there. Go to LW Hospitality Advisors in Google. You'll find us. My phone number is 516-456-6959, and email address dlesser, Lesser, at lwhadvisors.com, advisors.com. So how was that plug? Was that shameful?
It was amazing. That was freaking awesome. We're very proud of you.
Do I get another video now from Suzanne because of that?
Suzanne, what do you got to plug?
So we're coming into the end of December. Don't forget your budget AI. You can decide if you want to be on Craig's team or if you want to be on Glenn's team, whichever one. There's your discount code. Our next program starts in January. No excuses. Pay attention and get on board for AI. Lots of other amazing programs. So if you want customized training, definitely reach out to me.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great.
Hey, we just filmed 3 great episodes of Click Connect on Wednesday that wrap up the year for us. So it has been an amazing journey, and season 11, we're halfway through with Doctor Producer Director Suzanne. Couldn't be happier about the direction, what she's doing. You know, again, I have to admit, she got to agree with me that Glenn and I share the same brain. And, you know, she's going, what do I do with both of them? So, but yeah, so we've got that wrapped up. We've, you know, there was a big announcement today. The press release came out. So we are officially Click Media. And,
awesome.
A lot of different things today. We're going to be also doing some high-end tours of hotel assets and showing people off your hotel. So call us and we'll come out and film for a few days. So,
and we have great sponsorship opportunities. Don't forget that. Reach out to either one of us.
That's right. That's right.
So you guys do shameful plugs too, huh? I see.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think? Got to pay the bills too, brother. Yeah.
To do the show to plug ourselves.
Yeah, so next week I'll be at Inspire. I'm looking forward to that from the Luxury Hospitality Association. So come see me doing 2 separate panels. I got incredible people. On one panel, I got Walt Eisenberg, who's a true icon, and another one, I got my friend Todd Avery Lenahan, who runs all of design and for Win over there. So it's going to be a couple of great conversations with amazing people out there. I want to thank my friends over at Virgin. I'll be staying with them at the top of the week, doing some content with them. My friends over at Resorts World, who I did some great content with the SVP of Food and Beverage yesterday. Be on the lookout for that video in a couple of weeks, as well as one I'll be filming next week with the VP of Hotel Operations over there. All right, that's it for my shameless plugs. After that, holiday season. No show next week, because next week I'll be on an airplane finally coming home after this long trip.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to the one and only Friday Night Audit. We'll see you next time. Bye.